Ben Johnson sounded off on a ton of topics at his press conference today, including what he learned from the Lions' playoff loss to the Commanders last year as the Bears go up against the Commanders this week, how the Bears can improve the run game. He explained more of the run game struggles. He gives his thoughts on both Jayden Daniels and obviously his own quarterback, Caleb Williams. And then a lot of injury updates, including the latest on Cairo Santos and a player we might need to really be worried about at this point. We'll tell you all about that later on in the show, so stay tuned for that. Can we get to 133,000 subs today? We are 175 away. I think we can get there. If you want free and daily Bears content, and if you want to take down the Commanders report in our subscriber battle this week, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's start with Ben's thoughts on the Commanders, because we've obviously talked about redemption, revenge after the Bears lost in the way they lost last year to Washington. Well, the Lions season also ended against the Commanders last year, and that was a tough one for Ben because he felt like the Lions were a Super Bowl caliber team. Here's what he had to say about that. He said, you need to play complementary football to beat this team. This is a really good football team. I think Dan Quinn is an outstanding coach. His guys play hard. They play inspired football. And, you know, last year we actually did a watch party here on the channel of that game, and the Lions still put up 31 points, over 500 yards, but they had 4 turnovers. And that's kind of what Ben is saying is you got to play solid, clean football if you're going to beat Washington because they'll take advantage of your mistakes. As they're coached well, they obviously have a good offense led by Jayden Daniels. So you're not going to, win this game if you turn the ball over probably more than 2 times. So got to be fundamentally sound in all areas of the game. Now, let's get to the run game woes now, as obviously that's been a big topic point for this team through the first month. It's been an issue. They can't get the ground game going. Ben expanded on those topics here on today's press conference, I should say. He said, quote, "It's hard to evaluate any of our backs right now when you turn on the tape and there are some free runners in the hole when the play is designed to go. I take it personally because I actually spend more time on the run game than I do on the passing game. Not only trying to create explosives in the running game, but being sound. We're just not there yet." And, obviously as a fan or as a viewer, you're wondering, okay, when's it going to click? Could after the bye week be the time? Is this when they kind of hit the ground running? I mean, obviously it's been a problem. Their running backs, as we have discussed on the show, are averaging 3.4 yards per carry, and as a whole, just not very effective. I mean, the fact that they're scraping out over 100 rushing yards per game is kind of miraculous, considering how ineffective and inefficient, really, DeAndre Swift in particular has been for this football team. Now, Johnson has consistently defended Swift. He did so again today, saying it's hard to evaluate the backs. And he made a point of, hey, like a lot of where these runs are designed to go, there's free defenders, free rushers in those gaps. So it's kind of hard to evaluate the backs. And that's something I've consistently said. I think the pass protection has been much better than the run blocking. Listen, we know DeAndre Swift is flawed. He's not the perfect back. He doesn't have great vision. But when he's getting the handoff and within a step, someone is contacting him on the defense, there's not many backs in the NFL that are going to make that guy miss and go get positive yards. Now, the special ones can, but DeAndre Swift isn't special. You shouldn't expect him to shed a tackle as he's getting the handoff consistently. Like, that's just not a realistic approach. Now, there are plays out there that he's probably left yards on the table, rushing yards over expected. He's still in the negative there, so he's clearly part of the problem. But I think it's also fair to say that he is not the problem, or at least the focal point of the problem when it comes to the run game. I will say this, and I discussed this earlier this week, if the run game woes continue on Monday night, I do think you have to consider changing things up when it comes to this running back situation. All right, coming up, Ben Johnson sounds off on both the quarterbacks that'll be in the spotlight in this game, Caleb Williams and, of course, Jayden Daniels, as they duke it out for a second straight year in Washington. But got to tell you guys first about our sponsor. That is Prize picks, daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I've had a lot of lineups recently, and I'm glad to get some Bears players back in my lineups this week. The way Prize Picks works is simple. You just pick more or less on player stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups, and you are good to go. If you hit, you win some money. Prize Picks is also the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Caleb Williams' pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? You can do so right now in one lineup only on Prize Picks. I got a little 2-player lineup for this matchup that I like. Caleb Williams more than 24.5 rushing yards. I think he'll use his legs in some key moments in this game. And then I like Deebo Samuel to score a touchdown, whether it's rushing or receiving. Demon play, which increases the payout there. Terry McLaurin did not practice, by the way, so we'll see if he plays this week. If he doesn't, I love that Deebo play. Even if he does, still like it. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Okay, let's first talk about Ben's thoughts on his quarterback, Caleb Williams. He said, obviously felt highly about Caleb when he was entering the draft. He was part of the reason why I wanted to come here, and I haven't been disappointed with him whatsoever. He continues to get better. He has elite arm strength and an ability to extend plays. Ben Johnson on Jayden Daniels. Jayden's an extremely accurate thrower of the football. It's something that's overlooked about him because he's so dynamic with his legs. These are 2 dynamic quarterbacks in this league, and we're going to be talking about them for a long time into the future. And they're always going to be interconnected as the top 2 picks, and obviously with the way that the first matchup went, with how dramatic it was, like it's going to be a talking point for a while. And, you know, I just kind of wanted to revisit the overall stats since they've both entered the league here, and it's starting to kind of even out a little bit. In fact, in certain areas, Caleb has caught up a little bit. Certainly the volume pass yards, he surpassed Jayden there. We know Jayden's a little more dynamic of a runner, but Caleb can do that in his own right. Ben obviously mentioned the accuracy. I think that's where Jayden clearly had a step up last year overall, although this year Caleb has been more accurate, 62 and change. Overall, Jayden's just under 60. And I think when you look through the first month or so this season, I think Caleb's actually been slightly better than Jayden overall this year. Now, when you look at the full picture, Jayden has certainly been the better quarterback. But I absolutely think the jury is still out. And I also think, even though technically Jayden's played in 20 games and Caleb's played in all 21 of his, Jayden has left several games early. I think it's like 4 where he's missed a good chunk of those games. He's missed a couple of starts. So the durability question marks that we had when he entered the NFL are starting to kind of creep up a little bit, that slight frame, and you just wonder over the course of time, how much time is he going to miss? Nothing egregious so far, but despite taking a pounding as a rookie, and not as much this year, luckily, Caleb's been very durable up to this point in his career. So it's going to be interesting to continue to see how this plays along over the years to come, and obviously with this game this weekend, both guys under the spotlight. Pick a quarterback. Who would you rather have? Type CW for Caleb Williams, JD for Jayden Daniels. Who you're rocking with? Who would you rather have? Let us know down in the comment section below. Okay, lots of injury stuff to discuss. Now remember, the first injury report doesn't drop till tomorrow since the teams play on Monday night. Let's start with the kicker. What's going on with Cairo? Ben said this today, quote, "We will see as we go through the week as to how he's feeling and looking." He later called him day to day. Okay, well, Courtney Cronin kind of had a full picture of what she witnessed at practice. Remember, the media is there for the open portion of practice, not there the whole time, so sometimes things get missed. But she said, Caleb, new leg sleeve, that doesn't matter. Did not see Grady Jarrett or Jaquan Brisker for a second straight day. We'll get to Brisker in a second. Cairo was with the specialist, but not sure what work he was able to get done. Darnell Wright was off to the side again with the trainer, so that's been the same for 2 days. Cairo, again, did he do a full-fledged kicking workout? Was he doing some minor stuff? Unclear. We'll see what it looks like on the injury report tomorrow. I want to talk about Jaquan Brisker for a second, though. I'm getting a little bit concerned here, and I don't want to go here, but I don't think I'm doing my job if I don't at least mention it. Doesn't it feel a little like last year? Remember after the Carolina game, there was no mention of an injury, and then all of a sudden we were told, yeah, he's not going to make the trip to London, and then we find out he has a concussion, and then he didn't play the rest of the year. Well, this year they haven't had to disclose anything, and they haven't asked Ben specifically about him. I think it's a poor job by the media, to be frank, but he has not been out there for 2 straight days. Did he self-report a concussion again, like a few days after the fact? I believe, and I can go back and double check, last Tuesday, I don't remember there being a note about him not practicing. I'd have to go and look, but maybe he self-reported after that. Maybe he didn't practice last Tuesday and it just wasn't discussed or mentioned. It was just kind of a light practice before they exited for the bye week. But you just always are going to be worried about Brisker anytime he's not practicing. And when they say not seen out there, that means they weren't even off to the side. Like Darnell Wright, off to the side with the trainer. If you're concussed, you can't be in the sunlight. So again, I'm not saying he has a concussion. I don't know. But I don't know what the hell is going on. There wasn't a report of an injury out of Vegas. He has a concussion history. I hope he's fine. I hope it's just some maybe minor nagging soft tissue injury or something like that. That would probably be the most ideal. Maybe he's sick. I don't know. But I'm guessing they'll ask whoever speaks to the media tomorrow. I think the coordinators are tomorrow. Maybe they're Friday this week. I'm not sure. But we'll find out then, because the first injury report comes out tomorrow, and they have to disclose what the injury is. It's a league mandate. So don't want to over-speculate. You never want to. But given the guy's history, you're always going to wonder when he's not out there what the issue is. And obviously he hasn't been out there the last 2 days. Are you worried about Jaquan Brisker? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. I mean, I am, regardless of the injury, because you need him out there. It's a big drop-off from him to Elijah Hicks or Jonathan Owens, and I'm also concerned given what we know about his past with the head issues. So, yeah, I'm going to type my Y for yes until we know more. All right. Good vibes to Brisker. Hopefully that all goes well. We will be back tomorrow with more content. We'll have a video up in the morning on Colston Loveland. He was out there practicing again, so he seems good to go. And then we will be live tomorrow afternoon. So be sure to subscribe and join us for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down.